P0rnstars/porn addicts of Reddit, what is one thing you commonly see in porn, but would never actually do in bed with someone? Elbow-deep fisting. Really, just fisting in general. But yeah. After gave birth to my daughter, I kept bleeding and the doctor thought I might have retained some placenta. So he put his arm up my vagina, roughly to his elbow, to check around. Luckily the epidural hadn't fully worn off, but I still thought that it was definitely something I wouldn't do for fun. From what I know, the majority of women in porn are not enjoying it. I assume men are also not that into it, at least not the way they thought they would when they were hired. It's a known fact that the contract that they sign, that includes what they will and won't do, gets thrown in the garbage as soon as they start filming. If the actors protest about putting 3 in 1, they are told, there's the door, BC will hire someone who will do what you won't. I'm not even sure if lovemaking porn exists anymore. It's sad. I'd never do stepmom, stepson, stepfather, stepdaughter, stepgrandma, stepgranddad, stepuncle, stepauntie, stepcousin, stepsecond cousin, stepbrother's friend, stepauntie's stepgrandmother's best friend, or a step-pet. I believe there are step-butt plugs and step-dildos available now. I used a stepladder once. Have an actual emotional connection. I've seen some really loving porn, oddly enough. This. I have seen a brilliant orgy scene that's really wholesome. Clip is over 45 minutes, but the first 15 minutes is the actors introducing themselves to each other, telling about kinks, carers' boundaries. The scene was filmed on a plot of land near a lake, so you're basically watching a bunch of people having a picnic. Then the sexy goes wild, and I genuinely believe they all had fun. People jumping in the lake, throwing water at each other, and then jumping each other, etc., etc. The end is all of them laying down on blanket, some sleeping, some having a drink and looking back on a fun shooting. TLDR, there is wholesome porn out there, you just have to look carefully for it. It's just not really nice. One partner is constantly cold, the other may have water in their face. It's slippery and can be quite dangerous, and the positions you're doing it in are not the most comfortable and pleasurable ones, because of the space restrictions. I disagree. You just need the right shower for it. Stall showers are a no-go for obvious reasons. Tub showers are much better. But the hot ticket is a handicap-accessible shower. They've got so many handrails that you can use for strategic foot placement. The wife and I had an apartment with one before we got married. I think we had more sex in the shower than in the bedroom at that place. We still reminisce about it, and low-key plan to have such a bathroom if we can ever buy a house. I see a lot of what I would call incest porn, e.g. brother finds sister asleep in bed. Obviously all fake, but WTF people? Why is this a thing, and why does anyone want this fantasy? Actually read a reasonable explanation about this once. It's pretty much the easiest skit to set up because it requires no props and you don't have to remember fake names or anything. It's also a pretty vanilla kink in that it doesn't change anything about the actual act of sex itself, and pretty much everyone knows the participants aren't actually related, so people who want to fantasize about incest can fantasize, and for those who don't, it's extremely easy to ignore that part of the scene because your brain already knows they aren't actually related. Slap or choke my partner, even if the partner asked for or enjoyed the actions. Add to this, I would never spit into my partner's mouth. Yeah, I'm aware of the slang swapping spit, but I think of this more as what is also commonly referred to as French kissing, but I would never forcefully spit into my partner's open mouth from any distance. I dated a girl that was into being strangled. I got so far then thought this is all a bit high stakes and stopped. I got the impression given her kinks and fondness for sex this was far from her first rodeo. I think spitting on a girl's exit hole is all a bit skanky too. A bit off topic, but anytime I come across Thai vids, it's always some old fat guy with some skinny girl that either looks bored or dead inside. definitely gives me sex trafficking vibes. In other words, doing weird kinks involving exotic women is a nope for me. Those scenes that give off rapey vibes. For example, where the girl is stuck somewhere and asks for help, but horndog can't keep his in his pants and rips open her pants and stuff and just does her. Or where no isn't respected but dismissed with "come on, you know you want it." Those I cannot watch. No matter how sexy they are or who plays that role. To fully answer the question, I guess consensual rape fantasies / roleplay. I'm staying far away from those. Slapping them in the face with their penis. Not because I have a problem with it morally, my penis is just too small to be used as a blunt weapon like that. Honestly, dirty talking. Porn can be super dirty, but IRL I tend to be much more sensual and compassionate. I'd do it if the girl asks me to, but it's not my default. Some yogurt daily while in hospital and/or while in antibiotics prevents most C. difficile and would be my first choice. I'm aware it is used sometimes for that under some special authority from the FDA short of actual approval. People are doing this in their own though, and the research is lagging behind use. People are claiming success with IBS and the like. It's kinda a mess, pun intended. I don't have porn addictions, but I have a cheating story, hope you like it. I found out 3 weeks ago, and I feel lost right now. I have been with my GF for 3 years now. Last month we were on vacation and a friend called her. This friend used to call her all the time, so it wasn't something strange. I did not put too much importance into it. Normally I give people a long leash expecting them to do the right thing. But when their phone conversation was over, I got this strange feeling and asked her who was calling, and she answered my dad. I knew for certain it wasn't her dad cause I was texting her dad at that moment. So the doubts start to rise, and that night I extracted the WhatsApp messages of her phone. When I started reading the chat, I noticed right away she had been cheating on me for the last 9 months. Of course I was destroyed and confused since I thought she was happy. I confront her the next morning, and she starts crying and tells me she was in depression and this friend was her support system. At first she denied any sort of affair with him until I tell her I had all the chats between them. That's when she accepted and tried to sugarcoat everything once again. She said she loved me and that this guy means nothing to her. Of course I don't believe her, but time got me wondering if this was just a mistake that could happen to me at some point and how I wish my partner would react. A couple of days passed and we got back home from our vacations. I sat with her and told her I need to hear the whole story if we were going to try to save the relationship. She told me the story, and while some parts did not add up with the chat of 547 pages that I got from her WhatsApp, I still was willing to try saving the relationship since she agreed to cut the affair and go to therapy with me in order to give us one last chance. That was a month ago, and I'm going through the process of realization and assessment of all the parts this damaged inside of me. Sometimes I feel like I can't trust a word of what she says or feel unworthy and unloved since I got these feelings our relationship and I were not important enough to her to do the right thing in the first place. We agree to be more open to each other in order to avoid future situations. She agrees that she was wrong seeking comfort in a friend instead of talking to me about her depression in the first place. However, every time I feel like I need to tell her how I feel or ask her stuff related to her affair, she starts crying and asks me why I'm doing that to her. Why are you asking these things, or why can't you let me heal, she asks. So I ended up feeling guilty and sad because I upset her. How ironic. So now I feel like I cannot talk to her about my feelings cause she will always get upset, but at the same time I feel like this is so unfair since I'm the one grieving here. I'm the one that should be upset and feel destroyed. I'm the one who was loyal and loving when she was weak and selfish. Now I just cry on my own while I shower or feel depressed knowing I will have to go through this process without her support. Apparently she is not in a stable emotional state, and I realized she cannot be the rock that I need to support me in my healing. We start therapy next week in hopes this can give me additional tools to keep going. But for now I'm just stuck with my pain and the flashes of the chat I read about them. Thanks for listening. Be strong, people. Thanks for watching. If you're eager to hear more wild stories, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to leave us a like. Also, let us know a crazy story from yourself in the comments section below. Also, feel free to check out other fun videos in our channel. See you soon.